This is the Jarvis HPS gun. In this video, I want to show some of the built-in safety devices and how to operate it. To start with, you always want to handle the device carefully because it is a weapon. You want to make sure that you're not pointing it at anyone at any time. Before you add or put in the CO2 tank, I always like to take the supply safety stop and put it in the supply trigger so it is not operational. And then we'll grab our CO2 tank and we'll always inspect the O-ring on the tank, make sure there's no nicks and that everything looks good on that. And we'll also look at the pressure relief valve, make sure there's no damage to that. If everything looks good, we'll go ahead and grab some oil. And I like to put a few drops of oil inside where the tank will screw on. That will lubricate everything as you use it. Every time I put a new tank on there, I always like to add some oil. That way we'll just keep everything nice lubricated. We'll go ahead and grab the tank. And I always like to have the gun pointed up when I screw the tank in. It will screw in and you'll start to feel some resistance. And that's when it's actually starting to activate the tank. So go ahead and screw that in all the way. Now the gun is charged. It's charged just to this position right here of the supply trigger. Always make sure, I always like to point it up, make sure you're not pointing it at anyone. We'll go ahead and pull the safety pin from the supply trigger and we will insert it in the hole in the back of the regulator mount to keep it out of the way. Now, this gun, once the tank or airline is on the tool, it is charged to this position here. Once you pull the supply trigger, now you've charged the whole gun. One of the main safety aspects that we build into this gun is if you release the supply trigger, it vents off everything on this tool. There's no residual air pressure in here. You don't have to worry about, if you unscrew the tank, about being a live tool. So we will go ahead and pull the trigger, and that will extend the gun in the full ready to fire position. And then you will go ahead and bring it down on the animal that you are wanting to euthanize, and then you will pull the fire trigger, and that will fire the gun. Now with this tool, we have it built in so once the rod travels to the end, it automatically vents the chamber. So even if you have this trigger pulled still, it is not under pressure. To recock this tool, go ahead and release both triggers and point it up and push this down all the way. Now that will latch the rod back into the catches and it is ready to fire. That will also, once that is latched, it will connect the passageways so the gun can be charged again. So to fire that again, you just pull the trigger and it will extend to the position and it should be ready to fire again.